Hello listeners and welcome to the Cult Update with me, your speaker Casey, host of the Cult Vault podcast, bringing you some of the most recent updates with cult news stories across the world. If you like this content, please consider subscribing to my channel and supporting me at patreon.com/the Cult Vault. All sources for today's stories will be linked in the episode description. And now on to the news. Our first story of the week looks at critically acclaimed actress of American Horror Story fame, Sarah Paulson. It was revealed last month in September that Paulson will play American religious leader and questionable character Gwen Shamblin. After the success of the HBO Max series, which premiered in September 2021 and was titled The Way Down, a docuseries focusing on Shamblin and her rise to fame and success through a series of Way Down workshops designed to help people through their weight loss journeys by using the Bible before eventually starting a church named the Remnant Fellowship. Shamblin would preach inside the walls of the lavish church she had built for her fellowship that to be truly pure and close to God, you had to follow a strict diet and strive for a certain type of body image. Of course, one way to do this would be to commit to Shamblin's growing Way Down workshops. The docuseries was such a success that it became HBO Max's most watched docuseries according to a September 2022 article on Vulture.com written by Zoe Guy. And this success has led to the commission of a dramatised version with Sarah Paulson to play Gwen Shamblin. There's currently no release date publicly available, but keep an eye out on this channel because we will update you as soon as there is any news. The Unification Church is under fire again and the subject of public scrutiny after a former Unification Church member and daughter of still devout parents went on stage at the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan, or FCCJ, to talk about her fears and hardships of having such devout parents of the Unification Church, who gave large sums of money throughout her childhood to the church. The pressure to practice the rigid doctrine and the repeated difficulties of being a child in the church, in school and other public settings, being subjected to bullying due to poor appearance, according to an article by Tomoko Akate from japantimes.co.jp. Under the pseudonym Suyuri Ogawa, the former member bravely took to the stage after the Unification Church sent out a fax to the FCCJ demanding that the event be cancelled as their guest speaker was a liar and cannot be trusted. The letter was signed by her parents. The Unification Church was the subject of scrutiny only a few weeks ago when former Japanese Prime Minister was assassinated by Tetsuya Yamagami, who allegedly told police he committed this murder due to the Liberal Democratic Party's ties to the Unification Church, and how Yamagami's life suffered due to the vast amounts of money that his devout mother gave to the Unification Church, who subsequently had cosy ties to the political party, according to an article on TheGuardian.com in August of this year. Of course, there is always talks of Sung Myung Moon's children in the news, most notably Sean Moon for his gun-toting AR-15 Colt, as recently reported about by Tim Dickinson in August of this year for RollingStone.com. But more on this another time. In September 2021, cult leader Keith Ranieri, founder and leader of Nexium, a workshop-based self-improvement corporation which is now defunct, was sentenced to 120 years in prison for a number of crimes, including sex trafficking. Ranieri was the subject of news articles recently, not only for demanding a retrial and accusing the FBI of manipulating and planting evidence on his computers, but most notably for being attacked in the dining hall of the U.S. Penitentiary Tucson in Arizona in the morning of July the 26th by inmate Maurice Withers, who punched Ranieri in the head and face, according to NBCnews.com. What is not clear is what led to the physical altercation, but NBC reported that Withers himself is serving 18 years for similar crimes, including sex trafficking. On to other news, which also happens to be coming out of America. Laurie Valadebell, the subject of the recent Netflix documentary Sins of Our Mother, has had her trial delayed yet again, as the judge suspends the January trial date until Valadebell's mental competency can be confirmed. This is the second time that she has had to submit to competency testing, and this is amongst Chad Daybell's request to a separate trial, which seems to suggest one of the two may be preparing to turn on the other, at least according to the Laurie Valadebell subreddit. Nate Eaton, reporting for East Idaho News, who has done so daily since the story broke, of two missing children, 7-year-old JJ Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan, were reported missing. What followed was a story of twists, turns, and a lot of dead family members. Laurie Vallow's husband, Charles Vallow, was killed by Laurie's brother, Alex Cox, allegedly in self-defense. Laurie, at this point, was having an affair with science fiction and fantasy author Chad Daybell, and by this point it seems the pair had created a complex alternate reality that centered around their shared belief system of the Mormon faith and LDS Church. Included in this belief system was a rating for various people in their lives, which included dark and light ratings. Dark meant that you had been taken over by demons and you were now a zombie. Light meant that you were going to be invited into the 144,000 special people that were to be included in Valo and Daybell's sanctuary. When Laurie's kids showed up on Chad's scale as dark and then went missing, people feared the worst and the story gripped the nation. Before this, however, Alex Cox, Laurie's brother, would die of supposed natural causes, as would Daybell's wife Tammy, who has since been exhumed. Tragically, the children were both found in a shallow grave on the Daybell property. Laurie Valadebell and Chad Daybell are on trial for the murder of JJ, Tylee and Tammy. For full case details, you can find earlier episodes on my podcast or follow this channel for updates as we get them. To finish up today, the Danny Masterson trial is due to start on October 11th and is set to go ahead despite Masterson's attorneys asking for a delay due to the anti-Scientology public sentiments, according to an article by Audra Heinrichs on Jezebel.com. That 70s show star and longtime Scientologist Danny Masterson was accused of rape and sexual assault by 3 different women starting in March 2017, where the women have alleged that Masterson, quote, forcibly raped them, with a potential 4th victim coming forward in 2020 claiming that Masterson, quote, repeatedly raped her during their relationship. The Church of Scientology even attempted to get the Supreme Court of the United States to review the case in hopes that they would intervene, but this was thrown out by the Supreme Court, according to Dominic Patton's article for Deadline.com just a few days ago. A quick visit to Tony Ortega's Twitter in regards to his blog The Underground Bunker, where Tony Ortega has written about the church since 1995, I found a recent thread that I thought I would throw in here to end today just for clarity. It read, "One of the most disturbing things that happened on Monday was in regards to a woman who says she was sexually assaulted by Masterson in 1996, some 5 to 7 years before the 3 cases he's actually being tried for. The prosecution would like for that woman to come in and testify as a witness. Philip Cohen, Danny's defense lawyer, is against it because unlike the 3 women Danny is accused of forcibly raping, the woman in 1996 was so incapacitated she couldn't fight back. Cohen says that's different enough that she wouldn't get to testify, and he explained that the only reason Danny is facing trial next week is that the 3 women he's accused of attacking between 2001 and 2003 say he raped them through, quote, force or fear. That's the law." Cohen said if Danny had just got them so drunk they were totally incapacitated like the 1996 woman, there wouldn't be a trial happening. Here's how Cohen actually said it. Quote, "We would love this to be a rape by alcohol or drugs case because the trial wouldn't be here." He's actually said it. Check it out. Then there's a screenshot of the transcripts available for public viewing. And that is the first of our cult news updates. And if you found this interesting or helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel, comment your suggestions, and sign up to patreon.com/The Cult Vault to support the show. I'm your speaker, Casey, host of the Cult Vault podcast.